The Blitz, sponsored by Moxie Credit Union and Michael Rocha with Atlantic Realty.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Frankie Tovar here with this special Blitzcast. That's right, we're about to interview Turlock High head coach James Peterson. And I'm joined on the phone right now by Turlock High head coach James Peterson. James, it's nice to have you on the line.
Hey, how's it going, Frankie? Thanks for the phone call.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you. We saw you just last Friday, and I know that, a loss is not what you guys look for when you guys hit the field on Friday, but, even though you guys did lose 41-13, how are you guys feeling now, days removed, getting ready for the next week against Downey?
Well, I always tell my guys after we win games that we have a 24-hour rule. So the good thing is if you lose a game, it's the same thing. So we've quickly, turned the page as a team and started working and prepping for Downey this week on our bye week. So it's been a good week so far. I feel like we're on the right page, and guys have their heads in the right places. They aren't focused too much on the loss from a great football team like Central of Fresno. We're more or less focused on moving on and getting after Downey.
Absolutely, and I know you guys are preparing for Downey, but if you can, let's just talk about that Central game for a little bit.
Sure.
Are there such things as a moral victory? I mean, 41-13 doesn't look great on paper, but for people who were there watching the game, the defense played well, and you guys did hang in there for at least a quarter or quarter and a half. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, at one point at the beginning of the game, we actually led. We came down and answered after Central scored their first touchdown. We blocked an extra point, and then offense, I think, came right out after that following drive and answered, in Turlock fashion. They played physical running game and mixed in a few passes to keep the drives going and ended in points. So I was feeling really good at the beginning of the game, like, okay, we gave up the touchdown early, but our guys are going to settle in, and we're going to start playing, good defense as we've shown all year.
And so Central, top-tier team in California, what's the thought process of scheduling those type of teams for your pre-league play?
If we can play the best teams, preseason, it really doesn't hurt us as long as we stay healthy. And for the most part, our preseason schedule, we've been able to do that. We've kept our team intact. We did have one injury at the beginning of the year at Clayton Valley Charter that really hurt. We lost one of our linebackers to ACL injury, and so those things right there, those things can happen at any point. I've seen ACLs happen in practice before. I've seen non-contact in all different ways. So I mean that injury to me it did hurt team morale, but it also allowed somebody else to have an opportunity to step in and own the position. We have a saying: if you're on the field, you're the starter, and so the next guy came in and is doing a great job, and he's playing better and better every week. So, yeah, if we can continue to play tough teams like Central Fresno and stay healthy, I think it's great for our football team. Even if, like I said, even if you lose those games to those tough opponents, they really don't hurt you anymore by the way the section views losses to tough opponents. It's not seen as a bad thing as it used to be. You play a weaker opponent and pick on them a little bit, it may not be as beneficial to your standings in the section as you think.
Yeah, what about the beneficial part of the players themselves? Do you think that it hardens them or the experience helps them out in league or maybe even playoffs? Because, I mean, you lose against Central, but you do win against someone like Sheldon,
Yeah. Obviously, you now battle-tested. You've seen super speed. You've seen as good a speed as you're going to see in Sacramento. You've seen, as big of linemen as you'll see in Sacramento. So I think playing Central Fresno really helps us in that way. But we want to be a post-regular season team. We want to be able to go far in playoffs. And in the years past, it hasn't happened. So we've kind of adapted our philosophy since the section started viewing your wins and losses the way they do, especially in preseason. It's really helped us, I think. Helped us last year. We played a good team in the playoffs last year. Cosumnes Oaks played them at home, and handled them. And so I think that's really the key, is just being in a good position during playoffs, and getting some of these teams to travel to us is good. I think just generally overall just improving our gameplay by doing this, playing these tough games, because not only are upper levels seeing the action, but lower levels are too.
Yeah. So now, how do you feel now, getting ready for the CCAL campaign? 3-2. How's the team looking? How are they feeling? How are you feeling?
I think most people, when they saw our preseason schedule, would have said, you'd be lucky to win one game. And, and if you win two, it'd be really good. So we were able to win 3. And I think, one of the ones at Clayton Valley there, we were pretty dang close to winning that one as well. We had, like I said, a few key injuries, I think, hurt us there. Moving on to this week with Downey, I think we're in great shape. We've seen speed. We've seen, large passing sets with, formations where sometimes there's not even a running back. So we've seen those formations now. We've seen top talent run those plays if they want to run, and I think the defense is going to play great. Our offense saw a line against Central that was big and physical. I think we're going to be ready for Downey up front. Offensively, we should be able to run the ball like we want and pass when we need to. Our special teams unit's been pretty much consistent all year long. So as long as our kicker does a good job, we tend to be good on special teams.
Downey, so they finished 3rd last year in the CCAL. Obviously, you guys undefeated league champions. But Downey this year, what do you know about that team? What are you expecting once you two meet on the field?
I think Downey, they graduated some really good players last year, but they also had a lot of juniors playing last year, and a lot of those guys, they're starters now. I mean, the Harris kid, he wears number 3 on his jersey. He's a really good offensive player. He also plays defense as well, and so I think he's probably the heart and soul of that team. He's a really good player. We got the quarterback. He's back. He's a senior. His name's Zoker, and he gets after it. Throws a good long ball. Throws the intermediate route. Throws the screens really well, and he can run a little bit. So we think that he's a well-rounded opponent, and he's going to give us some. I don't say he's going to give us some problems, but he's going to make you play sound. If you try to cheat on defense, he'll find it. Who else? What can I talk? Oh, number 25, man. I think he's a great player. Rivera. He's a running back, slot back type guy. Just really good speed, and I think he's comparable to our Dalton Lynn that we have on our team in size and speed and athleticism. He's a really good player. So they bring a lot of experience back, even though they graduated guys. They still have maintained a good core of guys coming back, and so I think that's probably the strength of the team right now. Their offensive gameplay, I think, is speaks for itself. They always have good statistics, and they run a really sound program, and they typically, I think, they try to pass the ball to set up the run.
Yeah, that game will be on the road for you guys. The CCAL opener. You guys are both 3-2. I'm sure it'll be an interesting matchup. One thing I know about your squad, obviously athletic, capable, but very confident. There's a lot of confidence streaming through the various players that we cover when we come out and cover for the Blitz. Where does that confidence come from? Does that come from the fact that you guys are 3-time defending undefeated league champions? Does it come from mantras or mindsets instilled in practice? Is it just innate in those kids? You're the head coach. You're with them all the time. What do you think?
I think that we have a real strong community here in Turlock. I mean, support has been overwhelming. Even in a tough loss like Central, I don't spend my evenings talking to parents about what all the poor choices I made as a coach. I mean, these guys are supportive in the community. They raise great kids, and the kids that we coach every day, we coach that attitude. They come to practice, and we want them to be on time, ready to go. we always talk about what their job is, is to prepare and be available for coaching and open to, I wouldn't say it's criticism, I say it's coaching, If we're not talking to you, that's the problem, It's guys that can take the coaching week after week and get better. I think that's the ultimate thing that we strive for, is to try to get better. And the guys know, the type of schedule we've played, and I think they feel like they've done a good job. We do a good job of rewarding them when they have success and are doing the right things, but we also do a good job of coaching them when they're not. And so I think it's just a matter of just running a good, solid program with great parent support. And, our administration does a good job, too, of always making sure the facilities are in top-notch order. People are doing what they're supposed to be doing as far as, a code of conduct, the type of character people have that are around our team. And I think it's just a total package, what everybody brings to the table, trying to, do the right thing and be good role models for these kids. And it just wears off on them. Eventually, it's just part of who they are. And I think that's a good thing, because we're not coaching these kids to go be NFL stars. We're coaching them to be great men, in whatever field they go into after they graduate. We want them to be great men.
And, a lot of those guys are great kids. Eddie and I, we talked to them. We've covered 2 of your games already this season. We mentioned, a lot of players like Brock, Holden, Anthony Frias, Tamir, Jaden Jackson. But I'm always interested in finding out about those players that don't necessarily light up the stat sheet, so to speak. The players that we don't necessarily talk about because we're not there in practice or seeing them. Who are some other key players that maybe haven't gotten some recognition that you think might be, a foundation or cornerstone of this Bulldog team?
Yeah. That's the key to being able to have great practices is you need great practice opponents. And so a lot of time those unsung heroes are the guys that are maybe picking up your special teams reps or, they're the guys on the scout team during the week practicing the other team's plays. Guys like, Kyle Rumayor come to mind. He's a really good player, started for us a few games. He's got some things that he needs to work on, and we try to work on him every week. But he still comes in and gets some playing time, and I think he's a really key part of what we're doing in practice. And being a fill-in player off the bench, I think he's doing an outstanding job. Another guy like him is Luke Marson, almost identical. Good kid, good grade, good character. They work hard every week in practice and help make our team better. This week, we've actually starred Luke to play in the scout offensive role as the other team's best player. And so I feel like, stuff like that, and he really loves it because he owns the role and he really tries to make our defense better and tries to take advantage of opportunities when they're not, expecting it, or maybe they're not quite ready for it, just so we can get them ready for those game time scenarios. And he does a really good job of that. There's lots of guys, man. We really do have a deep roster. We roster roughly around 60 guys. A few of those are managers, but most of them are players that are actively participating. Anyway, yeah, just having lots of guys like them in the roster really helps.
Absolutely. And, I know Downey's coming up next. You don't want to overlook an opponent, but when you look at the CCAL as a whole, are there any teams in particular that you see being contenders for the top 2, top 3 spots, or who do you see kind of being that upper echelon of the CCAL that, you guys have to circle on your calendar, so to speak?
We really, take it week to week. I haven't even peeked at anybody else beyond Downey, and so I can't really comment and speak to who's going to be the best person in league. Obviously, I think we are. We're going to work hard to, defend our title. We're the league champ right now, and if they want the championship belt, they're going to have to come get it.
Absolutely. And real quick, do you know, has the Turlock Bulldog team ever gone 4 consecutive seasons undefeated league champs?
I don't believe so. I don't think that's happened.
Okay, so
we tied a record, I think, with the third championship year, and I don't think that's ever happened. You'd have to ask the historians, though. Guys that are around our campus that have been around a long time, like Joe Cosenza, he might know, and there's other guys that have written books and stuff. Richard Pellinelli, he's another guy that kind of knows more about those things.
Well, we'll definitely look into those stats, potential history-chasing season for you guys. We'll see you again when you guys play Modesto in just a few weeks. I know that'll be a big game, a big rivalry game, kind of reignited since the CCAL got put into place a year or two ago. And, of course, I know that you, as a former Bulldog player, you always get hyped up for that Modesto game, right?
Oh, yeah, all year long. We're always asking guys if we see them in red and black, why are they wearing Modesto High stuff around campus and not representing their school. So the kids even kind of get a feel for the game just by us doing that. We're just joking, but it's kind of a fun little rivalry to have, especially, with our 100th anniversary coming up next year. We've been playing Modesto High for a long time.
Yeah, and real quick before I let you go, why don't we take a little dip to your past as a player? What do you remember as a Bulldog player, playing these rivalry games, these Modesto schools, and mixing it up on the gridiron?
It was always it was the old TCC days, and it was you'd play every school in Modesto. That was probably the biggest thing of how tough it was to win league. Even back then, it was like 9-game league, and it included some of the Merced schools and all the Modesto schools, and it was a really tough thing to win your league. I just remember just playing hard out there. It seemed like it was colder back then because I can remember, us breathing outside and you could see the cold air coming out of our mouths and stuff. So I think the football season's kind of changed over the years. We start a little earlier in August, and that way we can finish by the holidays. And I think I just remember just being around the boys, man. That was the best part about high school football is you're playing with your friends every week. These are guys that you've maybe played youth football with and beyond, and that was probably the most exciting thing for me. I still see those guys today, and we can start talking, and it's like, no time has passed. It's amazing. So guys that you develop this bond with in football field, it lasts a lifetime. It really does.
Absolutely. A lot of those guys, not necessarily that you played with, but coached, are actually coaching alongside with you. A lot of familiar faces for me that I see every time I go cover Turlock High games. So that's great to see. So nice talking to you. Good luck upcoming week against Downey. I'm sure you guys will do well. And like I said, we'll see you guys in just a few weeks when you guys host Modesto. So that'll be a great game to watch.
Okay. Thank you, Frankie. I appreciate you guys covering us and giving a great interview. Look forward to seeing you out there.
All right, thank you. Have a good day, man. And that was James Peterson, head coach of Turlock High. They are 3-2 after their pre-league campaign, and they will be taking on Downey on the road to start the CCAL. And we won't have coverage of that, but just tune in a few weeks, and we will have coverage of Turlock versus Modesto. So I hope you enjoyed this Blitzcast. Hopefully it becomes a regular thing. And, of course, you can tune in on Saturday when we'll have coverage of Hilmar versus Escalon.